the People.
Oh,
They
okay.
had her for 2 years, so she's 4 now, she's getting tired. She loved my boy dogs, they played really well. And then we came in front of, she sat in the other room by herself. And she kept looking at our dog, my dog, being like, why are you under the table with her? Like, just.
You can try it when you
It's the weirdest thing. She's a nice dog.
try it.
Just
My
had-
goals are tonight. Please join me in the flag of the meeting.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, fiscal officer, please call the roll.
Trustee Sierra? Trustee Jessberger? Township Administrator? Chief of Fire?
Here.
Chief of Police.
Here.
Bear with me on item number 3 for just a moment. I would like to make a motion to accept the agenda with flexibility first.
I'll second.
All right, Trustee Jessberger?
Yes.
Trustee Sierra?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to change the trustee meeting time for 2022 to 6:30 p.m. on the first and third Wednesdays of each month, with odd months being at 3820 Cleveland Avenue and even months being at 999 Chambers.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Sure. Like to make the motion to change the time to 6:30. The first and third Wednesdays of, everything else is the same. The first and third Wednesdays of each month and odd months are at Cleveland Avenue, and the even months are here at Triple
I'll second with discussion. The time is great, 6:30, I like that. But curious about moving it to Tuesday or Thursday.
What'd you say?
Tuesdays or Thursday would work better for her at 6:30
Oh,
p.m.
okay.
Because this would interfere with parenting.
I personally have no issue with that. I have concern, however, that this is such a long-standing thing in the township that we're gonna get some pushback, and people showing up on the wrong day and time, and the predictability factor is so historic, first and third Thursdays. What do you guys think about that sort of issue with residents and predictability of the
I
meeting?
mean, it doesn't bother me, I don't know about others.
Personally, everything needs to be changed after a while on that. I mean, I'm old school and I think everything is like that and I don't have problem changing with it. But really, if we have a bunch of people coming in there, I don't know what the last couple of years have been like that, but there's never been really that big of attendance unless it's something of an issue that
Right,
they know about there. So
right.
if it helps out with trustees and personnel, I have no problem with it.
Can I ask you guys to just put this in your brains for a second? Is there a reason that Tuesday or Thursday would be better for internal systems at all?
I could see Thursday being a benefit. We need to get these agenda items out a week before, but there's always so many last minute things that for me, it would be helpful to have more weekdays ahead of the meeting. Purchase orders surprise you or repair orders. And
It seems to make some sense.
so
Does
fire
anybody
dogs.
have a different reason that it should be one day or another?
Personal, I have a lot of meetings on Tuesdays, so Thursdays would better for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point Deb made up.
So I'm gonna suggest that you make a motion to amend the motion to Thursday, first and third Thursdays. We can do that first since the motion's on the floor, okay? So go ahead and do that.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to amend
The motion to say Thursday.
to say Thursday. There you go.
And I'll second that amendment.
All right, yes, 6:30 p.m. Seconded by Jane. Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. We're ready for the roll on a motion.
Oh, sorry.
As amended.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. Okay, I just want to say that, I'm glad that we had a change to noon. I do not hold with the argument that we hear so often that evenings are better for most residents. I think that's a white collar argument that professionals with 9-to-5 jobs make. And I'm glad that we gave our blue collar residents an opportunity who work second and third shifts to come at a different time and to actually hold our meetings during the time when the bulk of the township work happens. I just wanted to get that into the record. Okay. So now we can say that our next meeting is January what? 6th at 6:30 p.m. at 3820. Mr. Hoffman, would you communicate that to Trustee-elect Grimm? Thank you. Okay, we are on to the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 1st.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. Okay. Fiscal.
All right, the November fiscal report, on November 1st this year, there was an overall fund balance of $8,691,758.55. Expenditures in the month of November, revenue. The revenue in November was $312,093.93. Expenditures in the month of November was $820,836.78, leaving us with an overall fund balance of $8,184,832.55.
$382.
380.
You just transposed the eight.
No, sorry, I'm dyslexic. $8,184,382.55 is the ending balance. Just quick note that November is always our highest payroll month. And that's when our annual bond payment happens. So it's an expensive month for us.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the November fiscal report.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. Next motion is to continue employing the township's attorneys on an annual basis for the year 2022.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. Make a motion to approve the pay and benefits for the elected officials at the rate set by the ORC for 2022.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. Motion to allow the general fund to pay for all departments' health reimbursement accounts costs from years 2016 to 2021.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
Trustee Sierra.
Yes. Motion to have each department pay for their usage of HRA accounts going into 2022 and beyond.
I'll second. So with that, I know that can get kind of pricey for the departments. So I would only feel comfortable doing that if these transfers happen.
That's understandable. I wish I changed the order on the agenda of these items, but
I'm uncertain how to proceed procedurally for you, but I will tell you that those transfers have already been voted on once by this board. When Trustee Sword was here, I was 2-1 on that vote. and it's my intention to respect her intentions. Does that help you?
No, because we're just kind of stuck now.
I believe trustee Sierra will approve motions 11 and 12. And if they're not approved, we would have to meet again this year because those two departments wouldn't have enough room in the temporary appropriations I drafted.
What I'm saying to you is that I didn't vote for one of those the first time we saw it this year, but I was outvoted, and I intend to respect the board's decision.
And that those
So I think it's
transfers,
gonna be okay.
and those transfers wouldn't be effective till January 1st next year.
Okay.
All right. Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra.
Yes. I can make a motion to transfer $300K from the general fund to the fire fund effective 1/1/22.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to transfer $300K from the general fund to the police fund effective 1/1/22.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra.
Yes. I'd like to make the motion to amend the 2021 permanent appropriations.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra.
Yes. Okay, so just to make sure, sorry, I'm kind of in numbers hell this morning, but I think I got it now. This amendment is what's gonna help police with a potential vehicle PO, correct?
And
And other major changes you wanna highlight for us?
the other boulder in that is putting the extra 4,000 some in our bond fund. That was a post-audit correction.
Okay.
So I think we started the year with 80,000 in that fund, and with this amendment, it will capture that fund balance correction and allow us to spend that down by reallocating the expense on the flooring review we did this calendar year. So that going into next year, we won't have that bond fund anymore, it'll be wiped out.
Finally, hooray. Looks like there's some, retirement stuff going on with some italicized numbers too, is that?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of old,
Yeah.
in the general fund needed more in the pension, and I think,
And
well, I
that's
would
about
say I
it.
have to put in some more, that's it.
Yep, okay, thanks. Do you have any questions? Ready for the roll?
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2022 temporary appropriations.
I'll second.
Trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra.
Yes. So there were, I don't have last year's before me, but I was looking at it this morning at home, and there were just a couple of things, like, it seems like there's a lot more small tools and operating supplies than used to be happening for at least fire, maybe both departments. Is there a reason, like, one of those jumped $25,000 in 1 year, and one of them jumped $10,000 in 1 year?
For fire, I added an extra 12,000 to capture a PO that we have not written the check for, but, so from the chief's draft to my draft, I know I added an extra 12,000 in that line item. I can't recall off the top of my head which one it is. It's not a repair, it's supplies.
It may be ESO reporting systems, we have those at the end of the year. We have to pay.
You're talking about next year's temps,
I'm
right?
talking about temps next year. From temps last year, they were like, like $10,000, say, in small tools, and now it's like 35. I'm not looking at those numbers, but I'm just saying there was a big bump in a couple of those categories, like small tools and materials, operating supplies,
I know
sorry.
our biggest expense going into the new year that Deb didn't capture was we have a $70,000 expense in the first month for the burn complex that we have. That's the second payment of the burn complex.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but that's not one of these lines, though. So we don't know. I'm asking because I wanted to see if there was like a COVID thing going on, if there was something about materials and supplies that were so different this year to last year. Because it's a more than 100% increase, so, it's stuck right out there.
So when I work with her on those, basically I look at the first quarter of this year, what we spent, and we try to increase that slightly. So the actual expenditure that we have those first 3 months, and try to increase it slightly.
Okay. But some of last year's expenditures was COVID money, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it may in fact be something like that that's relevant now. Okay, that was my only question. Anything else for you, Jen? I think we're ready for a roll.
Okay, trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Sierra,
Yes. Committee reports, trustee Sword would want us to talk about produce market.
So December 10th produce market results, 4,400 pounds of produce was distributed to 72 families, representing 216 individuals. We have a slight change for our January 14th market is moved to January 7th due to the Martin Luther King holiday weekend. So we'll have to get that advertised. I'm waiting on a flyer to come from Franklin County Public Health, but we need to make sure we get that changed on all the schedules that we have on social media. Pretty much all.
Okay.
is that still a 4 p.m. start?
It's still the same hours, 4 to 6 p.m. So the 2 in January will be January 7th and January 28th.
Sustainability committee was a new thing for us this year, and I just kind of made a couple of notes here. I wanted to make sure I hit some of our high points since it's the year end. For the first few months, the department heads met with the sustainability committee, and then we alternated meetings every couple of weeks with department head meetings, department head sustainability. We got a lot of stuff accomplished in a very short amount of time. We all worked to submit what the township is already doing by way of greening our efforts and making the township more resilient. Mr. Huffman then put all of that information together for us in an application for the Encouraging Environmental Excellence Award, which we did win from the Ohio EPA. And I thank you all for that. I'm very proud of that for the township. We then turned our attention towards Tree City USA. Thanks to the Public Works Department, we've planted to date 31 trees. The West Side Playground here is enjoying several new shade trees and redbuds and dogwoods that got planted in some of the understory. Several of those trees are replacing some old ones near the tree line that used to be there and have recently been ground out. Chambers Circle got a whole row of new crab apples right near the road, which should look really marvelous in future years when those bloom. We did a number of red buds in the understory of the tree line at Veterans Park, and just a couple at the Sale Road Playground in a similar way behind the equipment. We didn't quite get to finish off with the Case Road Community Garden, so we'll put that on the agenda for spring and do some planting there of some fruit trees in order to help with production at the garden. I recently heard from our regional forester that she has approved the Tree City USA application that I submitted, and she has bumped that now to the higher level for statewide approval, so hopefully we'll see that come to fruition here shortly. So Chief Jones also just wanted to kudos to taking the sustainability level work to a new level with the researching and advocating for the Teslas. That's going to amount to a significant savings for the township over time. Chief Fraley got on board as well with the solar battery chargers in the new vehicles. Mr. Hoffman has been working with Energility, and hopefully soon we're going to be pursuing our Energy Star rating there. We've got the building survey done and have a better understanding of some of the stuff we like to work on with our own energy consumption. And he's also now working on the grant for the electric vehicle charging station. So sustainability has been a busy and productive year, and I really appreciate department heads' efforts with all of that. Okay, the last thing I wanted to report on is that I went to the Ohio Grants Summit, and all of those virtual presentations are now online in case anybody wants to see those. And if you just Google Ohio Grants Summit, it's going to come up. But there was one in particular that was really interesting in terms of what we might want to think about for use of some of our ARP monies. And it was that wastewater and drainage, in fact, qualifies when it is for the improvement of water condition or health condition. What that means, as it came out in the course of the presentation, because we didn't think this really was going to apply to us, it wasn't like sewer. But in fact, drainage would count, because if somebody's basement is getting flooded, that's not a healthy condition. So it is an issue that we might want to just consider having a conversation about in the future, but it was a new piece of learning for me. I thought I'd spread the wealth there and just toss it out there in case it's something that we want to think about in terms, I mean, we all know that we're built on marshland practically when it comes to drainage in the township. So maybe there's a project there in the offing for us. So when it comes to art monies, I know you're closing end of year stuff, but I'm asking again, when do you think we can have any calculation of lost revenue?
Before this calendar year is over, the next 2 weeks.
Yeah?
Yep.
Excellent.
You know, in our temps, we didn't appropriate anything under that fund,
Yeah.
but I've had discussions with Mr. Huffman that by the time at least we'll pass some terms, that will wake up some line items in there and be rolling ahead with programs that the township wants to pursue with that fund.
Could I make a motion if it included you waking up one of those line items?
No, because then I don't have the Excel document in me to say, all right, let's put 100,000 in storm drains.
No, it's not. Well, we know we have like $214,000 in the fund.
Yeah, right. We can pass terms before March if we want. You just should not pass your permanents until you have last year's books fully closed, and it's better to wait till you have your first half real estate, which lands about the first week of March.
Yeah.
But at any time, the board can amend temps.
Yeah, I'm leading you down a rabbit hole. Let me just try this and you tell me what's wrong with it. How's that?
Yep.
So I would like to, don't second this yet, Jess, okay?
Just brainstorm.
I would like to make a motion that township employees receive a one-time premium pay as authorized in the American Recovery Plan. And I have some amounts in mind, but why can't I just say from Fund 2273 at a line item to be determined by the fiscal officer?
I don't know. There's no line items in that fund, so we need to amend terms now. And I don't even know what that line item would be. If it's gonna be for police, you need one that says, our police, $10,000.
That's why I was thinking.
Fire.
That's why I was thinking if we designate the fund that it's coming from, because we often will say a blankety blank motion paid by the general fund.
No, we always say a line item. We clarify that's in the general fund, but I don't have a line item to, I can't make that happen right now. I don't know what the line item would be, and you'd need to amend terms. If I knew 2 days ago, I could have gone down that rabbit hole, but if we want to meet again later this year, we could try. ARP is blank. ARP has $241,000 in it. There are no line items, so there's no money appropriated within that fund. We can't spend anything out of that fund until it would be appropriated. I understand your intent. I wish I could say yes, but I can't technically figure that out. Nor do I have the capabilities to type it into the Excel sheet and so on.
So even if we designated what fund it came from, add a line item or line items to be determined by the fiscal officer, you don't think that would be a valid resolution?
No, because I can't ever decide without you guys telling me.
I never tell you what line item to create.
Not to create, but once to spend.
I'm happy to do that part. I'm just saying,
None of the line items exist right now, so you can't even tell me. I know we all want it to happen, but I'm just saying technically those line items don't exist. Had I known this was the intent, when we were amending terms just now, if those line items existed, I could tell you yes. But those line items don't exist because I didn't know this was something you wanted to do. And you can't ever tell me,
Well, I
yes, you
didn't
can
know,
spend it out of that fund, I trust you to figure out what the right line item would be in that fund. I'm not allowed to make that determination, the board always tells me which line item to spend a police cruiser or a salary bonus from. I wish I could say yes, but as far as my understanding of the rules, I'm not allowed to determine at a later date, once I wake up those line items. I could go down that rabbit hole, we could meet again this
and
calendar year.
we can't just call it a 100 salary line item?
No, because it doesn't exist right now. We didn't have it in the permanent appropriations. It's not there. It hasn't been appropriated. You can't spend any money until it's been appropriated.
I understand that. Couldn't I appropriate the funds and authorize you to create the salary line item?
No, as far as I'm sorry, as far as I know, my clerical duty is to create line items for you, present them to the board, and then the board say yes or no, or say, hey, move 5,000 there, put it here, whatever you say. But like, you can't create line items. I would create them, we talk to department heads about where they need to be in various buckets, and then the board would approve that.
Okay. 6 years later, I've never approved a line item in my life.
You will with that purchase order, you say exactly what plays within the.
No, but I've never approved it's okay to call this topic this number. I've never had to approve that.
We don't pass topics.
I never have had to approve the creation of a line item number as this
No,
is the one.
you don't approve the creation of line item numbers. You and I make them. You look at the whole appropriations and you say yes or no to that whole picture. And before these meetings, we all, department heads and board of trustees say, hey, don't forget about the trees, put more money in wherever that line item goes for trees. So that when we get to this meeting, people have their input.
And I understand that, but as you know, a lot of that stuff happens last minute, and this just occurred to me this morning, so it's just one more last minute thing. But if you're telling me there's no way you can do it, then I guess we'll try it in January. And I would say, please wake up some line items in that fund right away, because I'm gonna wanna look at that in January. How's that? Does that work for you?
I believe I'm supposed to follow other leads on how we want to spend the ARP money. You're asking me to choose how.
Well, I think we'll have a board decision, but I'm saying, let's not be stopped because there's no line items, right? Well, obviously, we'll have a conversation and a vote and all of that. I'm just asking you to take what steps are necessary so that we can do it with the creation of the line items. They'll be there, we'll amend whatever we need to amend and authorize whatever we need to authorize.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, thanks. What's happening?
As mentioned before, this is the motion to authorize Township Administrator to execute an agreement with Energity to assist with the completion of electric vehicle charging station grant, and for the Township Administrator to act as an agent for the board in all matters relating to the grant applications to be paid from Fund 1000-110-310 up to $6,400.
So moved.
I'll second.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Sierra?
Yes.
And just a couple words of caution, if you will. Tomorrow is the last day for the leaf pickup for the residents to maybe get out there tonight and rake those leaves up to the curb. Because tomorrow will be the last day for that. And just a reminder that the new Public Works Superintendent will start on Monday morning. So we'll be getting him on board and get his paperwork done and get it going.
All right, welcome Dave.
I have a question then. The leaf thing is last day tomorrow. I've been posting that on Nextdoor and sent emails and everything, so hopefully people know. The question I have is, if we have any more of these windstorms like we had, will the Public Works Department be able to come around and get some of the branches and things that have come down that people have put out in front? These are unusual circumstances and I don't know.
As I understand it, they're like parts that go on a truck. And so the branch part is then then changed to leaf part, the leaf part then changed to winter part.
Right.
So, after this week, the leaves will be changed to the salt.
Right.
So other than swapping things back and forth, I'm not sure.
Well, I just wonder, because in past years, if we've had storms where really big branches and things came down, they did actually fix one truck up anyway and come
I
around.
think Corey did that once in really an extreme storm situation, but it's not something that they love to do. It's a lot of labor changing over.
My understanding is when we're plow and salt ready, we can't also be picking up limbs. I'm not.
It's also important to remember, should that occur, that stuff can still go in yard waste cans if you can break it up and it's of that size. Because yard waste happens with
Right.
garbage. So that's an option that does exist once the brushing stops.
You're saying local waste services will pick
Yeah.
up branches.
Yeah, but some of these
No, I'm
branches,
saying they have to be in a can.
yeah,
or
some of
whatever.
these branches are too big to break up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
you know.
And I know in past years, we had at least one time, we had a really bad storm and they did come around.
Yeah,
And-
I'm not gonna make that call for Dave though, you know,
Yeah.
I think he
Imagine
needs
if
to
that
get in there and
happens,
determine
I'd
what
do
he
an
can.
emergency, so.
Dave will be busy on his first day.
Chief Brady, I think we're you.
Yes, so Santa will be passing through the township streets starting at 9 a.m. this Saturday, December 18th. Both will be starting from fire station locations. We're also inviting the children to hold up signs for Santa telling them what they want for Christmas. We have poster board and markers are available at the township hall. We also brought some over here. And I think Bobby was gonna hold on to that for us on this side of town. And that's thanks to Lennox Target for the donations. We're also encouraging township families to hold up signs letting us know how long they've lived in the township. That's all I have.
Okay, good. All right, thank you, Chief. Chief Jones?
Yes, I'd like to request a resolution to order 2 Dodge Police SUV vehicles from Jim Shorkey Auto Group for an amount of $81,986 from line item 2081-760-750.
So moved.
I'll second.
Trustee Justburger?
Yes.
Trustee Zero?
Yes.
Then announcement that we do have gun locks that we received. Those are available to any township residents during regular business hours between 8 and 4. And I think we missed this last food drive-through, but the next one we'll get some of the gun locks out there as well. Again, everyone sees on TV, we can't promote gun safety enough to keep them out of the hands of kids and stuff. So those are free of charge. So please come get them.
It's a great service, thank you. Anything else? Public Works, not yet. Appreciations, anyone? Okay, happy holidays to everybody. Other items to come before the board?
I just want to mention one thing that happened in our review last Saturday. I'm sitting in my computer and I have a mirror up there so I can see if somebody pulls in my driveway. And I look up and there's 2 horses coming down the road. It turns out that 2 members of the Columbus Police Mounted Unit were coming through University View on their horses. I guess they went a number of places, but it was just really kind of neat to see them go down the street. You know, people commented on it on Nextdoor too about the same thing, so it was really kind of neat.
Fun.
What day was that you said?
It was 2 members of the Columbus Mounted Unit
Yeah. Is it like last Saturday?
last Saturday, yeah.
And we don't have horses, I can't compete with them.
I was gonna say, next month's gonna be asking for a barn now.
The old salt bar.
That's the first time that's ever happened since I've lived here, so I don't know.
That's nice, thanks for telling us.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's, okay, with that, I'll make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to ORC 121-22G8 to consider negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance.
I'll second.
Trustee Justburger?
Yes.
Trustee Sword?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Trustee Zero?
Yes.
Okay.
Trustee Zero, do you want to just make a motion for the second one or?
Wanna-
Yeah. One at a time. I'll call it when the fees fly. We're back in session at 12:53. We're going to dump the last item for the next agenda. So with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Indeed. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.